All right, my beautiful people, man. ERGJ is here. Thanks so much, New Black Wall Street, bringing to you another edition, man. We got love and money. Of course, it's Heart Month, right? Got Valentine's Day coming up. Got people loving on each other, kissing on each other. We got people, it's cuffing season. So we wanted to talk today, man. You guys know that, I'm all about that money, money, money. But today we want to talk about love and money, man. We got a powerful couple here with us today that represents Black love, man. We got a powerful couple that represent going through the struggles of dealing with this thing called money and love. And what a great opportunity it is for us to dig into their life. What a great opportunity it is for us to learn from them and ask the tough questions, because they don't mind answering the tough questions. So if you are an individual and maybe you're married, or maybe you're thinking about getting married, or maybe you want to know what this married life is, or maybe you want to know how come people can't seem to get this money thing right when they're working together in marriage. Man, this is a great place to be, great questions that you can ask, and this is the time to do it, man. They want to teach, they want to inspire, and they want to show you what's worked for them, and also some of the things that they overcome along the way to get to where they are. So here's the deal. Up in the top left, you got this thing called tweet. This is an opportunity for you to just tweet out and let people know that you're here today. And guess what? There are going to be some people that see this topic and be like, man, I want to talk about love and money. I want to talk about heart day spending. And they going to join the conversation. Then there's also a little space up in the top. It's called Post F. F stands for Facebook. You got a Facebook family as well that wants to know and wants to talk about love and money tonight. So why not give them the opportunity? Give them the opportunity to join in on the conversation, because this conversation, it's legacy time. It's going to change maybe the landscape of where you are right now in your marriage, or where you want to be in a future marriage, or just even in relationships, because it doesn't have to be marriage. You got some money problems just with your girlfriend. Hey, let's talk about it. Let's get it out. And so I got some power couple of saps that are here tonight. They don't have a problem talking about it at all. And so I'm just going to be here listening. I'm just going to be here soaking it all in. And I'm going to make sure that my dog act right, because that's all I got, a dog right now. I got a dog. And he just be eating up all the food. I keep telling him, you're making me spend a lot of money. But anyway, the Saps, man, tell us a little bit about you, your journey, man. Thanks so much for being here. I know you guys got a busy schedule. I know, Tanisha, you're out doing your thing with your counseling, your sex therapist, or whatever you got going on. And Zoe, you busy with your stuff. Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Well, yes, definitely super busy. Oh my gosh, I hear the echo too.
Uh-oh, you muted now.
The IT guy did it.
Okay.
But a little bit about us. So we've been on this journey for 14 years. We are 14 years in this thing.
That's 14
yes.
14 bucks right
there. Yep. Give it up. 14 years in this thing, and we are still going strong. We still like each other. I think we're still in love. Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah, he had a Freudian slip earlier, so we might still be in love. And we have navigated this journey together. I think it's really safe to say that we really grew up together at this point. Thanks, guys. I think that we are to this point that we continue to grow. And that is really what keeps us going strong and keeps us really gelled and committed to this process. But I will also say that it has been a struggle in terms of, it's probably more so me because of my issues in my own relationship with money that I've been working on. But I think we're pretty good.
It was hard. Coming around. Like the beautiful Miss Sapp stated.
Doctor.
The beautiful Miss Dr. Sapp with all those ABCs, 1, 2, 3s in front and behind her name.
I worked hard for that.
But yeah, it's been a nice journey. Things have been going pretty good for us. It's been up and down, like she stated, but we've been able to manage through a good bit of stuff. having the businesses that we have and so forth has actually brought us closer together, because we've been able to, help each other brainstorm, help each other grow, help each other take our lives to basically the next level. How we want to actually get to the future goals that we actually have set for not only just personally, but for our whole family as well. And, with raising our 3 sons and teaching them, what a relationship is, letting them know that you're going to have some up and downs, and, you talk, you communicate, you try not to bring too much negativity, to the marriage and so forth. And then you just, try to keep each other happy.
Fantastic. So you mentioned some of the. Am I echoing now?
Nah.
Oh, you mentioned
we don't hear that.
that you might have coming into this. You want to share a little bit about that?
Not so much coming into the relationship. I'm a big believer that we are only as knowledgeable as our predecessors, or as the information that we have in front of us, or the information that we have available. So all of the all of the history, or all of the information that I really had about money, about relationships, and all of that stuff came from my family. And they're not good role models. So I'm just being real. They know. But they're not good role models. So even in terms of relationships with money, living life on credit, we work paycheck to paycheck. We live paycheck to paycheck. That's the norm. That's acceptable. And so that's how I grew up. And that's how we entered into our relationship, as that being acceptable practices. So when he started to break the mold and kind of go against that and challenge those beliefs, I was like, no. I want to go with what I know, because that was safe for me. It was safe for me to have credit cards. It was safe for me to have all this revolving credit. It was safe for me to operate using debit cards and not cash based, because that meant that I could afford it if I had it. If I could swipe it, I could afford it. But no, that's not the reality. And it took me a while to shift that. And some of that even requires you to be a little vulnerable and be honest with yourself, and to check your entitlement. And that I didn't know.
So Zoe, man, so let me ask you, man, because I know in many relationships, once they hit that it's time to change, but I'm kind of here and you're here, you're on this level. I call it like a growth spurt. And I don't know whether you had it before you met her or you had it while you were with her, but you went on a different journey. You said, this is, wow. Yeah. But you had some growth spurt where you say, hey, I'm thinking as a man, I want to take my family in a different direction. And obviously this is the woman that I love and I want her to get on board, but she's not there yet. And a lot of times I feel maybe in relationships, because the other person isn't there yet in whatever arena we're talking about, obviously we're talking about money and love today, then that's what that causes that rift. And then somebody just say, hey, forget it. I'm just going to try and build somebody else, I'm going to leave this and try to build up with somebody else who get it. So what was it that for you that was like, no, I'm staying in here. I'm hanging in no matter how difficult this is. I know that change happens over time, and maybe you weren't even mature to that level at that point. But what really is what was in you that said, man, let me hang in here. Like it ain't greener on the other. The grass isn't greener on the other side of the fence, so I might as well work with what I got. I mean, what was it for you that kept you there after you had this growth spurt and you was trying to bring her along with you so you guys get on the same page as it relates to where you wanted to go ultimately for your family?
Well, she's the only child, so you kind of so dealing with some of that, her pulling left and me pulling right, and just kind of looking at the vision of where I actually wanted to go. I mean, like I said, we've had our ups and downs. We had our separation periods and so forth while we were dating. and when we had our first child and so forth. But I had to look at me, and then I had to look at her and the aspirations and things that she had, the goal sets that she had, and the goal sets that I had, and I noticed that they match. But before we got married and so forth, like she stated, we still had that, is my money, is your money, what I'm saying? We keep it separate, or, we'll help each other out, from time to time and things like that. Then we came into the marriage, and then it was like, okay, we still kind of had that mindset, but then it's like, hey, we got two incomes, let's put it together and let's make this thing work. And at the beginning we had like most couples do, because we didn't have that communication like we should have had. But once we finally broke that spell and got the communication better, start sitting down and doing budgets and things like that, it kind of worked itself out.
Hey, the drama is in the details. You skipping the details. How did y'all work out the
communication? Don't worry, I got you. I'm about to fill you in, because he didn't tell me about his credit score before we got together. Hello, check your boo credit score.
Yeah.
Hold on. Then let's talk about going into businesses and multiple businesses and not having conversations.
We didn't even got there yet. We're gonna talk about that because you guys. Not only are you living and dealing with maintaining a household, but now you're maintaining businesses together as well. Mm-hmm. So you're dealing with not only personal finance, you're dealing with business finance, and in some of those areas, you're dealing with them together. And whatever business you have together, along with your own separate businesses that you might operate as well. So this is going to be a great conversation, because we got a lot of different different routes to go.
Right. But let me help the people. Because the part that he left out was the fact that when we were dating, it was your money is my money and my money is my money. So, yeah, because I'm an only child. I mean, I'm daddy's princess. So don't sugarcoat it. Keep it real for the people. I'm not ashamed. That's how we got to be fabulous. So I'm not ashamed. And then and then we got married, and so it became he money and she money, which is all me money. And so we had to work through some of that. But again, these were this was what I learned about relationships, and this is what I learned about money and relationships. So I didn't know, what it means to, my daddy told me you need to have a joint account, and the man needs to be the provider, period. The end. Provider, capital P with a period at the end. It's a complete sentence. And so that's all that I knew. So I didn't know, and to be independent, I need to be able to get a cab to and from wherever I need to go. Just don't get caught stranded somewhere. That was it. Those were my 2 instructions about relationships.
Wow. So for everybody that's watching, thanks so much for tuning and joining in, man. Thanks for showing up. How many of you guys have been in a relationship, I guess maybe more so for the females, but for the guys too, where your money was his money and his money was his money? Now, let me ask you this, Sal. When you say that, was that because of how you were raised? Like, hey, you just handle the finances, even when you guys weren't married at this time. You're talking about when you guys were dating. Or was it his mentality of how he was raised to say, hey, I'm supposed to manage the finances? Which one was it? Was it that you gave control over it, or it was more how he was raised to say, hey, I need to handle this is the area in which I handle?
You know what? We didn't live together before we got married. We only moved in about a couple months before the wedding. So we managed our own finances separately, but I will tell you this, we never had a conversation about how you manage finances. I just knew that I assumed that bills were paid on time and all of that kind of stuff. It wasn't until after we got married, after you get married, you, everything you thought ain't the case. The makeup comes off, everything just, yeah. But what happened for us was I learned how he managed his finances. And I was like, no, I don't do accounts in the negative. I don't do late bills. And
not so.
Yeah. I was bad at one point.
Horrible. I'm gonna keep it real a step further.
I could float a check real easy.
rob Peter and Paul to pay Delilah. So here's the thing, though. Just recently have I really let back and let go of the reins to let him manage the finances. Like it's February 2016, like that recent.
Okay, wow. like this Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like I'm still squinting one eye.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. I know you guys are watching this, and if you got questions, here's the deal, man. You got an opportunity again to take what you're doing or where you're at, whatever, to another level just by asking the questions, man. If whatever, they are open to answer just about whatever. I don't know. You guys might ask some crazy questions, but they're here for you to share with you how they've been successful in their marriage with love and money. Now, just to kind of recap, we got people that's been married 14 years, right?
No. We've been together 14 years, married 8.
Okay, been together 14 years. So they've been married for 14 years. And
I like that.
And they are and they do business together. They got businesses together. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. And then obviously we're talking about their early stages right now and some of the things they had to overcome as it relates to their union and money. So what they're saying is they didn't communicate with one another about money or about how they manage their finances. And that was one of the key things that was something they had to overcome in the early stages of their marriage. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Right, fantastic. So you guys that are watching, we'll open up the seats later, but we wanted to start to have the conversation. There may be some things that you just want to get on and ask live or some things that you want to contribute to the conversation. And we want to make sure that we give you the opportunity. But if you do have a question that comes up, all you got to do is hit a /Q, ask the question, and it'll pop up, and then we'll make sure that we're able to get to it. So the early stages, so I guess we can call this the early stages of your marriage, where you're getting to know one. So you knew each other for 6 years before you got married, but you didn't get to know each other financially really until after the union took place. When all of the makeup came off, when you started to see, okay, yeah, he looked like he $100,000 person, but he really $100 person.
He's really negative 100. But let me not just say that though. See, I was about to say, I had my own money secrets too, because he didn't know what I did to pay for the wedding. So he didn't know how I got the money for the wedding.
Yeah.
So
So Rocco, DJ, T-Way, what we're talking about the early stages, and they've learned since then to work together. So thanks for bringing that up, and hopefully as other people are starting their relationships or in their relationships right now or thinking about relationships, that they can understand why they say that communication is key. And I believe the reality is we just don't think about talking about these things. You know what I mean? Like what is it about relationships, right? Because what I understand as a financial educator is that people just don't talk about money. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we went on a date, the food got paid for, but we never at any point in time in the 6 years for you guys really started talking about money. I might know what you do for a living. I might know how much you get paid, might not. All I know is that we can go out, we can spend some time together, have some quality time, enjoy one another, do things differently. But I don't really, the conversation of the inner workings of the financial aspect of our lives isn't really something that we just freely discuss, even though you guys knew each other for 6 years. So it wasn't something that was taught to you to discuss with your future mate. It's something you figured out kind of along the way, like, okay, I think we need to talk about money. I think it might be time for us to sit down and have a talk about money, right? The same way that you would.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. But that conversation didn't happen until 2010, maybe.
No, I think it was before that. I think it was around 2000. It might, yeah, I think around 2000. No, yeah, 2010.
It was about 2010.
That's
it was when the first time you brought it up, and I was like, I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, because around that time, it was, dealing with a number of businesses I had, gotten into, as well as my real estate business at that time. And, it was time around the market crashing in 2008, and then it kind of trickled on down, and, it's like, hold on, something ain't right.
Were these businesses that you got into, were they businesses that you communicated with her that you were into, or you just kind of just started and got into them?
There you go. The latter.
I happened to see some mail come in the mail that was addressed to a business I didn't know existed.
Hey,
I got about 6 houses over here. I'm like, wait a minute.
Trying to make some things happen, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do a surprise thing like, hey, I started this, I got this for you. We going here, and but
that's a good way. Hey, that's a good way to cover it up, man. That's a good way to say it. Good job, man.
I tried. All I can say is I tried. They didn't work out because I was doing too much too fast and not communicating with her, to including her in the business at that time. So, not getting her feedback, her input of, getting her thoughts and ideas and things like that. So, during that time, it was like me just going, I was just on my hustle and just trying to make things happen for us. Even though we still had money kind of separate a little bit, it was me trying to make things happen for us.
So,
singly, even though we was
me.
I think this is kind of important for people. I always ask this stuff. You probably ask these questions to your counselor as well. But how did it make you feel to not be included in these decisions as the woman of the household?
I resented him for that. He'll tell you. I shut down everything. I think, and I remember this, and I feel really bad. It's probably the first time he's ever hearing me say I feel bad about it. But because I remember specifically saying, I don't care what you do, it better not come out of our household money. And I probably said it just like that, all facial expressions involved. I know I did. I'm pretty sure I did. And didn't care in that moment either.
The single child came out of it,
I mean, because the money was just going. I mean, I was like, every time I turned around, it was expenses here, this here. And at this point, we had a child, and we had things that we needed to do for our child. We had a mortgage we had to pay. That's another story for another day.
Oh, and then, I kind of got let go from a job, so.
See what I'm saying?
Now we're talking about, obviously we're talking about him, but how were you contributing to the expenses? What were your money secrets?
I was probably hiding money at that point. Not so much hiding my income, but hiding my expenses. So I know earlier when we did a talk a couple months ago, we talked about hiding shoes in the car and all of that kind of stuff. I was probably the one who just bought stuff, either that or I took the approach of, I earned my money, so I'm going to buy what I want to buy, and you can't tell me nothing because my daddy lives over here. He don't live in this house.
Woo. So,
yeah.
How do you deal with that, man?
I know that.
Hey, I just hung in there, man.
Oh, yeah, I was a beast.
So cool, man. So you guys were able to overcome some of your personal things with dealing with money and loving one another and loving each other through it, loving each other enough to say that let's communicate about it at least, because we haven't really tried this. We haven't really tried to talk about it. I tried my way to bring some success to our family, whatever way I saw fit. And I saw over here that, hey, I'm just going to do what I do. And so you guys were literally married, but you were separated in your finances. Let me repeat that again. You guys were married.
We had separate, we were married, but we had separate ideals when it came to money. Yeah. Our finances were combined though.
Right.
But we just had
you were separate in your approach. You were separate in your idea. You were separate in how you were operating in your union as it relates to money. I don't care if the money going to the same account. If Zoe doing one thing with it, you doing another thing with it, or anybody that's in a relationship like this, that's what they can think. They can think that, hey, we got joint accounts, so we're doing the same thing. Oh, we're in business together, so we're doing the same thing. We've decided to partner together in this particular, do the school project, so we're doing the same thing. And that's not the case. You could be connected in this one area, but if your mentality isn't, then you're still separate. And you get my point, right, where I'm trying to go, because we're trying to help other people that might be in the same situation. They could have a joint account right now, and they're not operating as one as it relates to their money in their unit. I got my philosophy that's worked for me for 25 years before I got married. I got my philosophy that's worked for me, and this is the philosophies. In other words, they weren't joined as one flesh when it comes to their finances.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Now they're bumping heads.
So I don't know, but this was for somebody that's going to watch this at some point in time, because they may be dealing with, and we know that most relationships deal with these type of issues. Because we know that most relationships that fail, they fail because of money. So we're talking about a couple of things that you guys faced that could have caused you to fail, but you overcame. What are some other things that you guys faced as it relates to money that you overcame?
Well, for me, being the man, even though she knows some of it, as a male, when you're like, the day that's coming up, Valentine's Day, as well as, just because occasions, we like to splurge a little bit. And me being the individual that I didn't mind having 2 jobs, and things like that, or some type of hustle, I'd splurge, but not knowing the effects that it was having on me financially, as well as the relationship. But, I see the smile on her face, but then a few months later, it's like, well, why did you spend it? So after we actually had those conversations, now we've gotten to the understanding that every month is set up for us to spend. So now we don't have to go out and actually splurge, but we sit down, have a budget, and then if I have anything in my savings that I've put to the side, or she has anything that she's put in her savings and she want to go and just buy something for me, then we can do that instead of taking from what we call the quote unquote our bank, the bank account, the joint account, and we don't have to take anything from it. So
the budget has helped you to resolve the
splurging.
Not just the bird. I want to say the buy on demand. Like, I see it, I want it, I buy it. Having has helped you to curb the enthusiasm or the appetite to just strictly a consumer. You still buy stuff, but you buy stuff within your constraints because you have worked together for this budget. So the budget that you guys have worked together has, at the end of the day, it's actually become your covenant. So if either one of you breaks the budget, you're breaking the covenant that you two have worked together on as it relates to your finances. So your budget is your financial covenant to one another. Would you say that? That sounds about right.
Yes, that's spot on. That's spot on, because we'll have a conversation that's not in the budget. You can't do that. Nope. It's not approved.
Those are my favorite 4 words. That's not my budget.
There you go.
Denied. Heard and denied.
So I get that, right? So as a man, I'm thinking, man, my girl, my wife, you know, I want to see that smile on her face, and I'm thinking that these things that I get are helping to put this smile on her face. But I would ask you, Miss Tanisha, this might be getting a little personal, but what are some other things that put a smile on your face that don't have to do with money?
There's a lot. Go ahead.
Just a couple. You gotta tell the whole list.
I was filtering. PG-13. But
Let's keep it clean.
let me say this, that we're married and we've been together for 14 years. So something is working and we have 3 kids. So I'll move on.
What I'm saying, it could be something like he cleans my car every weekend. You know, I don't know. I don't know what it is for you. You know, I'm just.
No. It was my car.
Hey, I ran it through the car wash.
2 years later. But I will say this. This man here is my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader. So if today he did nothing else, I've gotten enough.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm being real. That to me is so much more than anything else, because if I say, you know what, I think I want to be an astronaut tomorrow, he's going to say, go ahead, you can do it, go for it. I'm not going to do that. But, you know, he supported everything. Even when I didn't think I was good enough, or I didn't think that I could do it, or I didn't think that I had enough, he would be the one to say, you can do it, go for it, you got it, this is all you, try it out. What's the worst they can tell you? No, you know, go for it. And to me, that has been the strength, just that strength and that support has been more than any dollar anybody can throw.
So that was helpful, guys. Like, you guys are, I don't think you guys are hearing what she's saying, because I don't see enough props going on the screen. What she just said, I think that's you know, you guys are tuning in. Like, did y'all just hear what she just said? Especially if you're a man that's watching, did you hear what she just said about her man? I mean, wouldn't that be what you want to hear from your woman? You know, that, hey, you got my back, and that's what I know. So regardless of anything else that you do, I know you got my back. And that is what keeps me through all your mess, all of the stuff that you keep bringing that we have to fix, and I got to fix for you. It's the fact that you got my back no matter what, man. I don't see enough props. You know, it's like this thing, you just tap the phone, laptop, and it gives, the number goes up because you're liking what you hear, and you're taking something away from it. So, Zoe, hey, same question to you, man. Outside of the things that she can provide from you in the bedroom, and the things that she can provide for you by buying you some, you know, some gift or whatever, what are the things about your wife that put a smile on your face?
Well, I mean, she's grounded me as well, as being very supportive, even though we could have, you know, been separated a good while back, but, you know, dealing with finances and dealing with other things in general. But, you know, her just being her, you know, just keeping me in my place, keeping me grounded. She knows that I'm not really a big, I don't always have to have gifts and so forth. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm kind of hard to shop for. You know, I don't necessarily have to have things and so forth. So, you know, her just being her just being the mother of my kids, you know, that's the biggest thing, is that, you know, what else can a man ask for, you know, that a woman just can just have his kids. And, you know, for me to have those 3 boys, I mean, I can't ask for anything else but just to make her happy. So if she, like she stated before, when she was in a position on trying to figure out if she's ready to step out of just working a 9-to-5 and just starting her own business, of course I got you. I mean, because I know for me, you know, the spirit, that type of spirit that I have, you know, I'm a go-getter. So that's the same thing that I seen in her, but she was kind of scared. So instead of saying, okay, just wait, nah, go ahead, I'll handle everything and we'll make ends meet. And that's basically what we had to do. And now it has prospered. So
now we're getting into the count, man. That's awesome, man. I still don't see enough props going on. I think we got a crowd that's just not active. They're not, they listening and they probably taking notes. They don't have time to hit the button and see the we should be at like 500 props by now, but I guess they taking notes. Yeah, they taking notes. I'm just gonna say they taking notes. So here's the deal. We're moving into
each other props later.
We're moving into the space now that we're talking about you guys in marriage and now in business. So kind of walk us through how you got to, okay, this is our first business that we are working together. Because we talked about, I'm in business and I'm doing it myself for the family some kind of way. That was smart. That was genius. And and then we talked about, hey, I have a desire to be in business, but I don't have the confidence just yet to just step out away from corporate America or step out from a 9-to-5 to step out from the known, because as a woman, you're probably like, hey, this feels secure. To now where you guys are at. So tell us about this first venture that you decided to go into together, that you, after you've had your talk and say, hey, we're going to start and get into business and we're going to work together to make this thing work. And how was that transition for you individually and then also as a couple to now have where you guys are now? But let's talk about where you were, how you moved into this thing for your businesses. And tell us about your businesses, by the way.
Well, the first business was my counseling business. And I think the best way to say it, the short version, is that we kind of fell into it. I was working a 9-to-5 and I wasn't really happy, and I would come home crying every night, probably begging the people to fire me, because I really hated it. It just really wasn't working. But on the flip side to it, we had the conversation. I wanted to make sure that I talked to him. And just a little bit on the personal journey before talking to him, I had to work on learning how to become a submissive wife and allow my husband to lead. And I use the word allow because I had to know when I was doing too much, when I was trying to dominate, which is, again, relationship history. What I learned and what I learned from relationships, that didn't work. So
it can't be two alphas in the house. I keep trying to tell people that.
No, can't be two alphas. So one person has to dominate and one person has to submit, and whatever it is that you're doing. And so I had to learn what that looks like. And yes, ladies, that is an art and a skill. Because there are times when I just want to say absolutely not, and I just have to close my eyes and turn around 3 times and not say anything. But anyway, I had to learn that. So instead of going and being impulsive and say, this is what I'm going to do, I had a conversation about, hey, this is what's happening and this is what I'd like to do. So I started off just doing some contract stuff. And ended up getting a EIN and a business name just for that. Wasn't in private practice just yet, but just working for some other folks. And literally the place that I was working was as clear as we're on this blab now. It was gone in 2 seconds. They called me and said the place no longer exists. Christmas Eve, to be exact. The place no longer exists. I'm so sorry. I hope you get paid.
Yeah, no paychecks.
Didn't get paid. 2 months, didn't get paid. So I stepped out of the security of this 9-to-5. This man said, you can do it. Don't worry about it. I'll handle everything. I'll make sure, with the promise of going to something that was making $3,000 more a month than I was currently bringing in. And then it literally was here today, gone tomorrow. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? And so he said, well, have you thought about going into private practice? And I said, well, no, I never, ever wanted to go into business for myself. Never. He asked me several times about going into business for myself, being an entrepreneur. Not at all. Not interested. And my exact words was, I'm okay working for somebody else for the rest of my life. Those were my exact words. And then ended up doing that and finding a space. And then we had to talk about how that space was going to be maintained. Who was going to pay the rent on this space? And he said, don't worry about it. I got it. So he worked the second job to make sure that we could afford to pay for the rent on that second space. And so when I say support, that's what I got. I got that support, those long hours, those long nights. He made sure that the kids were clothed, the kids were fed. I just had to make sure I stayed and did my wifely duties. That's it. That was my payment, my repayment. But it worked for us, And then from that, so many other businesses were born because I had a mindset shift at that moment. So we then birthed our publishing company. We birthed our financial company. We birthed my speaking business. And then we have some other stuff that's getting ready to come out that I can't share with y'all just yet. But so many other things came out of that one decision to break free of the chains of a 9-to-5.
Hey, that's deep, man. That's when you just gotta pause and just let that sit in with the people. Because here's what we're talking about, man. We're really talking about obviously going through the process of having love, marriage, union, money, but then evolving over time. And that, I think, for a lot of marriages, that can, I don't know, but that could be an issue when people start to change, like accepting the change that's within them and then supporting the change that they go through. Everybody is intended to grow here on this earth, but for some reason, we have this mentality that you're going to always stay the same. I can change, but you can't. You got to stay the same. Right. The person that I married got to stay who they were, but once we begin to accept that change is going to occur, that evolution will happen, and we can support one another in that growth season, in that birthing season, man. Look, what can happen. You can have a harvest. It started with one business, and now you got 5. Now you got 5 multiple streams of income. And not only do you have 5 streams of income, but you also now have an opportunity to shape the minds of your boys.
Yes.
Differently than how you were raised, differently than how you thought a long time ago, all because not only did you make the decision to go into business, but you made the decision to stay together. You made the decision to work through all of the trials and the issues and all of that stuff. You made a decision to begin to communicate. You made these decisions along the way that can now lead you to raising, as Van Gogh would say, raising some kings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that, I think, is our joint project, is to raise our kings, 1, and 2, to teach them something new so that they teach the next generation about how to be better than what we had. True. And that's the key. If nothing else happens, I know that we've imparted so much into our sons that they are equipped to not only go out into this world and be strong Black men and be kings, but to also be financially secure in their own right. They don't have to work a 9-to-5 because they created 9-to-5.
Ooh, say that again. I think you need to repeat that. I don't think the people heard you.
I said they don't have to work 9-to-5s because they created 9-to-5s.
Awesome, man. Oh my goodness. Woo. Woo! So here's the deal, man. This is what we got going on, man. We're talking about love and money. Black Love Working in 2016. Got a power couple here. I've actually opened up the seats. I know some people have left, but there may be some people that want to jump in. Maybe want to congratulate them. Maybe want to share with them what their story, what their time with us here tonight has done for them. Well, you got an opportunity now to jump into a seat, say something to the Saps, ask them a question if you got a question, but just be open with them. They're still journeying along. They still have problems and issues just like everyone else. But I believe, obviously, 14 years strong, 8 years of union, 14 years of knowing each other. They've grown to know one another enough that now they're at the place where, hey, yeah, we got some issues, but they've probably developed some systems around their issues. Like we're gonna talk this one out. Now we are gonna talk today. We're gonna talk tomorrow. They know each other now, and that comes over time, getting to know one another. I'm talking about knowing intimately, knowing your habits, knowing one another, and that's a piece that we're missing. We rush into trying to get to know someone, not understanding that there are layers to people, and then there's evolution to people. At first, you break down the layers, and you get to know the layers of who they are at the time that you met them and along the way. But then you have to recognize, I believe, that there's evolution to people. And I've seen people break up just because of growth spurts. I've seen people. I mean, it's crazy thing. Some of the crazy things happen because of our unspoken expectations that we carry with us from old, relationships, or our unwanted desires that we go out and we pursue on our own without having a conversation with the person that we're with. I mean, these are things that are easily fixed. But we got to be willing to go through and say, hey, I made a mistake and let's fix it. Right. How can I do better next time? Not pointing the finger saying you messed up, but how can I do better next time as it relates to this we're facing? So if you're out there and you're saying you want to speak to the Saps, you got a question for them, the seats are open. I'll allow you to decide to talk to them or not. But I mean, that's what we got. I mean, I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. I think we've had an excellent conversation, and I believe that you blessed the people just with your story and what you've been through as we approach Valentine's Day. I know we talked a little bit about splurging. How do you feel, Ms. Sapp, about I'm going to tell you this story that I had, and it was one of the reasons why I broke up my last girlfriend. See, now we're going to have therapy. I'm having therapy right now. I'm still trying to heal. Now, this is a girl that I actually was considering marrying, and I was like, man, this is some long-term success here. This is some long-term success. But the thing that I found as I was getting to know her was her big hang-up was on having a big rock on her finger. And my thing was like, I'd rather have a big house than have a big rock. Right. And I was like, and I couldn't understand what the significance of having this rock on your finger is if we got to live in a car or something like that. Like, and then I would even say to her, I say, hey, well, because I'm thinking about getting an engagement ring at this time. Right. And, I'm just subtly talking about the conversation. But it led me to never get an engagement ring because I'm like, we can't, that's not sustainable. So I would even say to her, hey, would you even start with a small rock and we can upgrade later as our finances grow, as we establish a home, as we do all these things? But she was hung up on having a big rock. So I guess my question is, am I wrong for saying that ain't going to work for me? Or did I miss some interpretation that maybe I could have made that work? Because this is somebody I was considering marrying. I was considering putting a ring on her finger. And that wasn't the only issue, but that was one of the main issues that I just couldn't wrap my head around. Having to get this big rock at this stage. Remember, I'm like 20, 22. We're just moving into our careers. We're not making the big bucks yet. But instead of having a down payment on a home, you'd rather have a down payment on your finger. And I couldn't get it. So I didn't marry her. So any words for your boy, help me heal from this pain of still being single, not married, because I decided that wasn't going to work for me.
Well, I think the first piece to that is, to have that conversation before you get married is key. So to know that before even going into a marriage is half the battle, because there are plenty of people that I see after the fact. And now this is a huge mountain. I explained it to my couples that it starts as dust bunnies. And then by the time you make it into my office, it's Stone Mountain. So, it's kind of hard to move Stone Mountain, but we can work some dust. We can put some Pledge, we can use some Lysol, we can use some some scrubbing bubbles to get through some dust. But we can't move Stone Mountain. We got to chip away at Stone Mountain to move it. So that's that one piece. The second piece to that, and I'll kind of I'm really transparent. And so I'll tell you, I'll back it up a little bit. The first time he proposed to me 3 times. And the first time, I know y'all, that's crazy, but I was going through stuff. The first time he proposed, there was no ring in the proposal. And to shed a little bit of light, every girl sits and thinks about what her proposal is going to look like. She's mapped out what her dream wedding looks like, and she's probably has sketches of her ring, of what her main ring, of what that looks like. Now, again, it's all probably fairy tale based off of Cinderella, and that's just the reality of it, or based off of what she's learned about relationships from whatever those relationship sources are. So that's one piece to it. The other piece to it is, when we did get engaged, the very first time we got engaged, my first ring was a Swarovski crystal. I remember when I opened the box, and I don't even know, did you see the look on my face?
Like, what is this?
Yeah, it was. I probably said, what the is this? I didn't say that out loud, but I was thinking it, and I didn't know, and I struggled for a really long time, because again, I mapped out what my ring would look like. I had sketches. He was trying, and it was yellow gold, and I'm allergic to yellow gold, so I was really like, okay, you missing the ball here. But at that moment, I had to decide: is it about the ring, or is it about the person?
Oh, hey! I'm gonna teach you about the speaking engagement. That's when you're supposed to repeat that. You just can't go past that. I'm gonna have to help you in this Toastmaster section. Can we get that? Can you repeat that again, please?
I had to decide: is it about the ring, or is it about the person? And in that moment, I said, you know what? My love for him outweighs anything else. So I said, you know what? I didn't care what folks thought. I didn't care what people expected, because guess what? They don't have to come home to him every night. I do. So I focused on that, and I said, you know what? I'm going to rock my little ring. And I rocked it literally until the stones fell out. And at that moment, I said, we're going to have to upgrade this ring. And we had and we went ring shopping together. Can't go wrong when you go ring shopping together. and we did that, and then he proposed again. So that was the third time, with the new ring. And so that was probably the proposal of my dreams, because it was a helicopter ride, all the theatrics, super romantic, over the King and Queen building.
3 strikes. Hey, I'm a third time now.
All right, so Zoe, let me ask you this, man. In the preparing to propose area, you're gonna help. Hopefully, you help some dudes out. We're gonna end on this. How did you find out her ring size? And also, how did you actually prepare to propose? Like, I think, when I think about proposing to a woman, I think that's the most terrifying thing I can ever go through. Because what if she say no? Now, hopefully, if I propose,
I did say no.
Huh? What?
I did say no. The first time he proposed, I said no.
Oh. So I can't imagine, right? Me getting to a place where I've done all of the sneaky work to find out your ring size, and no,
he didn't. He didn't. I was 19.
Yeah, I mean, we were both young. We were both young at the time, and then she got pregnant, and
I got pregnant.
You got pregnant.
Okay,
she got pregnant.
Got pregnant. We
right.
got pregnant.
Oh,
like I did it by myself. That's how we got pregnant, because we weren't communicating.
So I felt it was the right thing to do on my end as a man and say, okay, I've gotten her pregnant. You know what I'm saying? I just need to step up to the plate and let's, raise a kid together as, a married couple and not as single couples. And that's where we went through our separation periods from time to time where we were, together, not together. And then, during those 6 years and so forth. And then we got into our, marriage. But going down to...
Okay, so I'm going to cut you off there because keep it real with the people. Tell them that you resented me for not accepting your proposal.
Well, yeah, like when you were told no,
his feelings got hurt. And I mean, rightfully so, but I still maintain that was the best decision that I could have made for us in that moment, because had we gotten married, then we wouldn't be married now.
Yeah,
right.
But we weren't ready.
I get it. So I get it. So this obviously you guys are younger. You guys are still young, but you're younger, and and at this time, though, what you're doing is you're proposing out of a place of reaction instead of a place of being proactive. Like I felt it was the right thing to do, is what you said. So you weren't proposing because, hey, man, I've been thinking about marrying this girl, for the past 6 months. You were like, no, from my life and probably what your dad taught you or whatever the case may be, man, you get somebody pregnant, that's your wife. And that's just what you knew. Like, I'm not finna raise a kid as a single father. Even though you guys were together, you were still single. You're not officially married. So I'm just speaking for you as a man. I think we are the same.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not finna raise no son and even no daughter, a child, as a single father. That's not my makeup. That's not my ilk. That's not how I was raised. That's not what I believe. So this proposal, which she denied because of her own insecurities or where she was in a relationship and how she felt about what was going on, whatever.
Oh, I knew what it was.
So you knew it wasn't really authentic, really. I mean, we can say that. Can we agree that it was?
And I said that.
Okay.
Right. And I told him, I said, no, you're not going to marry me just because I'm pregnant. And I'm not going to marry you just because I'm pregnant. When we get married, it's going to be because we love each other and that's what we want to do. And this is the relationship for us. Now, again, goes back to my relationship history. My family doesn't have a good track record of successful marriages. So I didn't want to get married to get divorced. The person that I married.
Oh, so you did it again. You did it again. Okay, I'm gonna have to coach you on this whole speaking thing. We gotta go back. Let's retract and just, can we get a repeat on what you just said? You didn't want to get married to.
I didn't want to get married to get divorced.
All right.
So let me help
you. So after you do that, you be like, I didn't get married to get divorced. And you let it pause. You let it sit with the people for a minute.
Oh.
Okay. Let's try it again.
I didn't get married to get divorced.
All right, now go ahead.
Yes, right. The Barack Obama pause. So the whole point was, if I'm doing this, the only way out of this is death. So one of us got to die.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't plan on dying anytime soon. I don't have any control over that, but I don't plan on it. So yeah, there's only one way out of this thing. And and he knew that from the jump of getting in this thing. That's just that. So whatever the issues are, we're going to have to work through them because, yeah, there's no outlet. There's no way out. You stuck with me.
Fantastic.
So if y'all...
Dramatic pause.
So going back to what you were stating earlier about the proposals thing, the last proposal and so forth, it was one of those things where, see, I didn't have anything in mind, but I said, hey, I was driving home one day out for work and I seen the helicopter and I said, okay, let me look into that. And so I decided I'll take on the helicopter ride. And
Stole my ring.
Yeah, and that's how I got her size. Kind of getting in the jury box and so forth. And so
I need to know these things. I've been trying to figure out, how do y'all figure all this? I need to know this stuff.
Yeah, let her buy the jewelry sometime or buy the accessories, and then you go back and say, oh, okay, you went. Now I know your size.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he stole the ring, so that's how he found the size. I mean, I'm searching everywhere for this ring. He was like, oh, just look and see. Look under the bed. Look on the counter. Did you look? And I'm like, I can't find it.
Yeah. So after that ordeal went on, so then it was like, okay, now this is my third time asking this woman, you know what I'm saying, that now I've basically fallen in love with, at this time and so forth. And it's like, all right, I'm ready to make this change. And, are we going to make it happen? So went to, the Peachtree City Air Base, airport. And that's where they had the helicopter rides and so forth. And, we toured the King and Queen building because I wanted to symbolize her being my queen, me being the king, and we have a symbolism of where we're trying to go.
So basically, the third time is when you actually thought it through.
Yeah. The third time,
that's when he fell in love.
I actually put a whole lot of effort.
No, that's when he thought it through. He was in love a long time ago, but I've learned, and you guys can probably share, but what I've learned is there's something to be said about a person that plans in advance, right? Like if you guys were going to go on a date, when someone actually plans it out, it means something more than just sporadically, like where we're going to go, where we want to go eat. They actually plan this thing out. They know what time that you're going to go. They know where you're going. You know what I mean? They know what type of dress you need to have on. You know what I mean? You need to be prepared because we finna have a date. We ain't just going out.
Yeah.
We about to have a date. I got it all lined up, and all you got to do is show up. So there's something to be said about the man or the woman doing that, because I know the woman will take a man out on a date every now and then as well, and having it all set up. So all you got to do is be dressed and just chill. So something to be said about actually thinking through this whole, proposal. Like for a man, I know for me, I can imagine how scary it would be. But the thought of actually putting this all together and it works, it's like, oh man. But then for the woman, I'd imagine like he went through all of this to finally really truly propose to me. Even if it wasn't a helicopter ride, whatever it was, he planned it all out so he can make the moment special. And that makes a difference.
And that was the thing. It's not even about a cost association. It's not about any of the theatrics that occurred. It was the fact that he did it. He planned it. He made it happen.
And she was surprised.
He did it for me. And so that was what meant so much more. And it wasn't, oh, let me just do this. Here you go. Here's a ring. Maybe we should get married. Oh my gosh. That was the middle proposal was, hey, we were literally laying in the bed and he said, maybe we should get married.
I had a dream.
I mean, he turned over and said, he literally turned over and said, maybe we should get married. And I looked like, well, I guess it ain't going to get no better than this. So I guess maybe.
Wow.
And that was actually the one I accepted. And then he topped it with the helicopter ride. So
man.
That was the one I told folks about.
Cool. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being open and honest. I believe that there's that more singles, more couples, they need to hear from people that'll be open and honest about their relationships, the successes as well as the struggles. And from a female standpoint to a male, I mean, relationships are so huge in our society, and not just love relationships, but in general, how you deal with friends, family. We didn't even start talking about your stepmom, your stepdads, and all that stuff. But it's important that we continue to have platforms where we can actually discuss this. So I say kudos to you for being willing to share. So many people have, this is our marriage, we're closed, we don't share anything. And you guys have gotten to a point where you're able to share from your past so you can help other people prepare for their future.
Yes.
Saw that pause? Saw that pause? You're you're sharing from your past so you can help other people prepare for their future.
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama taught me that pause. I'm telling you, you gotta make that thing work. So at any rate, this is the New Black Wall Street, man. Love and Money, Black Love, working in 2016. The Saps were here with us, sharing and caring to share. So Zoe, man, you got any last words for the people as it relates to love and money?
Hey, just don't overspend. It's a regular life. Wisely. Ask your significant other of your wife if they have any ideas. I mean, for me, what I did was I just told mine we're going on a vacation. It's not on Valentine's Day, but it's earlier in the year. But but we just don't overspend. It's just a date. You got plenty more days. Just do a little surprise. See what she likes. See what she wants, and try not to be overspent. That's just my thing dealing with Valentine's Days as well as all of the other holidays.
So don't go broke.
Basically, don't splurge. Do not splurge, because if you splurge and she don't like it, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. I'm just saying.
You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad and bitter.
Hey, Miss Sap, man, you got any last word for the people as it relates to love and money?
I just have to definitely agree with my husband on this one in terms of not going broke, because then you have to come in and see me. So I mean, I can help you get it back on track, but you want to know ahead of time going in. So being realistic about those expectations, those wants, those needs, and those desires, so that up front we're talking about these things and we already know going in what's either going to happen or not going to happen, what's possible and what's not possible. And you don't have to keep up with the Joneses to maintain your relationship.
Awesome. Well, again, all right, man. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, man. I know you guys got a family to take care of, boys to raise, and probably more businesses to rise as well. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us and blessing us with your wisdom, with your knowledge, and with your energy. That's our time today, guys. We'll be trying to come back with some more Monday night conferences to discuss some of these issues that we see as it relates to the things that we're talking about, man. Money, love, entrepreneurship, wealth building, asset accumulation, all these different topics. We just want to bless you with some of the with some great advice. Again, to share from our experience of our past in order to help you prepare for your future. Well, this is New Black Wall Street, man. And as we say, man, on our way out, let's build as we climb together. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.